Alright, this is Selective Color in Distance Learning. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is take a look at the examples on the Schoology page where you found this video on distance learning. I have two videos on how to do it. I have one for the computer and one for the iPad, and this is the one that you use if you have Photoshop on the iPad. So the first thing you're going to need to do after looking at the examples is figure out which of your images do you want to turn into selective color. You do not want to just grab images off the internet, that breaks copyright. So you're either going to want to use pictures that you own or have permission to use. And the best way to do that is to probably A, use your own photographs, or B, use photographs that people took of you that you know you have permission to use. So here, I just went to my Facebook. I found a picture of me and my husband chaperoning prom, 2019, before COVID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit these three dots and download that image to my iPad. There we go. Another thing I could do is upload from my phone to my Google Drive and then sign into my Drive and download my images from there. Where is the download button? Oh, just press and hold, save to camera roll. There it is. iPads. Alright. After we do that, we can go ahead and open up Photoshop. So, the first thing we need to do is right up here, import and open, right up the top here. And we're going to open from Photos. So you can start with either of the photos that you choose. You will be doing two. I am going to start with my little Mokana and Mokana. And then from here, you're going to want to select the part that you want to keep in color. So there's a couple different selection tools for you to look at. This first one up here is the lasso tool. And it just allows you to draw around really quickly. If you oops, and you just draw one and you're like, no, I want to draw other, this little guy here, when you highlight it, allows you to add a selection from a selection. And it can be a really rough selection because we are going to be we will be able to edit it later. Another way you can do this selection is the select subject. So I'm going to deselect down here at the bottom, and using the select subject, I'm just going to select, my subject. There we go. So that might be a cleaner one for you. It's not perfect, but it could be a much closer to perfect than the other one. So after we got a good selection, the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to add an adjustment layer. Not curves and levels this time. We're going to add black and white. So I'm going to go to these three dots over here. And from there, I'm going to add a clipped adjustment. So adding a clipped adjustment allows the adjustment to apply to what we have selected. And actually, that reminds me, I almost forgot a very important step. I want my selection, or my dancing ants, to also be around the edge of my photo. Basically, I want to invert my selection. So down here at the bottom, invert the selection. There. Now I know that it's not actually the little stuffed animals that I have selected, it's actually the background. And the background is what I want to turn black and white. So back to those three little dots, and then add clipped adjustment. Up the top here, black and white. So this actually we can close out of right away, and you can see that it's done a pretty good job. Not quite perfect yet. So let me show you what's happening here in the layers. So right here you can see where it's white, and it's going to make it black and white. Where the layer went black, it made it in color. Oops. That allows me to take my paintbrush and edit what I need to edit. This is actually pretty close to perfect here, but let's say I wanted to take something out of the middle, like I wanted to black and white his gem up here. I would just paint that in white. And you can see right there on the layer that a white circle is popped in. I can also drag it to the opposite corner, so it's hex 00000, and using black I can paint back in the color. So if there's spots that are a little not quite the way they should be, that's what you need to go around and check for. Because this is a professional program and this is a project, so you want to make sure you're doing your best. I gotta turn this middle section black and white, and that middle section black and white. Bring my black back so I can add a little bit more color. And just making sure I didn't miss anything. Bam! So there's one of them. So after I do this, I want to make sure I save it as a JPEG. I'm going to go ahead and hit Quick Export, share a snapshot, and I'm going to hit Save Image. Next, I'm going to work on my second one, Import and Open Photos, and I'm going to work on my prom picture here. So let's go ahead and try the select subject. Pretty close, a little messed up in places, but we can fix that. Alright, so we need to invert the selection down here at the bottom. You can see that there is an invert. So make sure the dancing ants are going around the image. Then go to the three little dots, add clipped adjustment, black and white. And then we can close out of that. And here we are. Now we just got to edit this guy. So if I look at the layers by using this little square over square button here, black keeps the color, white takes away the color. Oops, that's not my brush tool. Deselect. So using a black brush, and we can change the size of the brush if you need it to be bigger or smaller. I'm going to paint in the color. For his hands. Switching to white. Not gray, you want white. FFFF. I can get rid of some of this unnecessary color here. I might even just get rid of a little bit of the color on my dress because the purple can be kind of distracting. And if I oops and go over it, I'll just switch to black real quick. Oops. There is an undo up here at the top, the arrow going backwards, if you need it. I believe you can also undo by double clicking with both fingers. Alright, it's going around. Oops. Making sure, you want to make sure everything is nice and neat. And then here, switching back to white. Now I know it can be hard with your finger, but take your time. I'm gonna kind of not do as good a job as I should have because I want to make this video short. But take your time, make sure it looks nice. And then if you're like, man, I can't get it perfect, always just zoom out and remind yourself that you're doing great. when you zoom out, it always looks a lot better than when you're really zoomed in. All right, from there, we can go ahead and hit up at the top, the upload button, quick export, save image. And I said last time that most of you know how to upload something to Schoology, but some of you were you're putting it in Notability first. You don't need to do that. So I guess I kind of misjudged, so I'm going to show you how to upload your images to Schoology now. So you want to make sure you go to the Schoology page. Now, as a teacher, I can't show you on that page how to upload, but I have a professional development course that I'm part of that I can show you how to upload things to. So here's an assignment that I had. I go to Submissions, and I hit plus Submit Photo and Video. And then I can submit these two here. And then just hit the checkbox. I'm not going to hit the checkbox right now because this is actually a submission to my principal, and I don't think she needs this blowing up her submissions. But that's how you submit images. Don't submit via Notability. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Submit your pictures. That requires going to the project submission on Schoology, going to submissions, hitting the plus button, and submitting a photo and video. Alright, that's all I have for you for Selective Color. Make sure you're always using your own images, you're not breaking copyright, and you take your time and have patience, and make sure you submit too.